Okay, can everybody hear me? Everybody. Okay. All right, inshallah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Inna alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our class on how to pray from A to Z. And today we will speak about the pillars of wudu. The pillars of wudu. A lot of Muslims, if you ask them what are the pillars of the wudu and what are the sunnahs of the wudu, they are not able to answer correctly. And this is something that we should know, because without the pillars of something, that means the action is not accepted. Just like we went over the prayer, there are pillars of the prayer and there are sunnahs of the prayer. If you do not perform the pillars of the prayer, then your prayer was not accepted. The sunnahs are the things that we do because they are things that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to do to strengthen the action, whatever the action is. But if for some reason you forget to do it, or you're unable to do it, or you just don't do it at all, that action is still accepted. And this is the beauty of Islam. Islam has pillars of most things. There's pillars of the Shahada. There's pillars of the prayer. There's pillars of the wudu. There's pillars of ghusl. There are pillars of tayammum. There, pillars of charity. There's the pillars of fasting. So there's pillars in most things that we do. And that's what makes Islam the beautiful way of life that it is. So today what we're going to do is go over the pillars of the wudu. I'm going to do it slowly so that all my new shahadas can be aware of it. And I strongly encourage everyone to take screenshots of the PowerPoint as I put them on the screen, and all of that too. So that way you can screenshot and have the hadiths, because again, everything I teach is based on what Allah said and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. I don't teach from a madhab. I don't teach from a book written by some imam. I teach straight from the authentic hadiths. So with that said, let's get started. And tonight, again, we're going to be covering the pillars of the wudu. And also, before we begin, we're going to give you a quiz. I'm going to give you a quiz to cover what we talked about the last time we met for this class. Okay? Just a couple of questions. And here's question number 1. We spoke the last time we met as to how Allah mentions in the Quran what parts of the body that we are commanded to wash. And by the way, those parts of the body commanded by Allah, those are considered to be the pillars of the wudu, since they're commanded by Allah. So who can tell us what parts of the body are commanded to be washed by Allah in the Quran when making wudu? Who can start us off? Go ahead.
Wash your face, hands, arms, head, and feet.
Okay, what do you guys think? Was that Brother Tarek? MashaAllah. Exactly. Good job, Brother Tarek. Good job, Brother. Oh, look at this, Eric. Good job, Eric. You got, I'm sorry, Edward. I'm sorry, Edward. Edward, you got it right this time. Yes, exactly. He said he wasn't going to forget that. Okay, Nadia said the hands, mouth, face, nose, and feet. I'm sorry, Nadia, that's wrong. And that's the thing, guys. The parts that Allah mentioned in the Quran are the pillars. And Allah commands us to wash the hands, to wash the arms, to wash the face, to wash the head and the feet. Allah does not mention the mouth, and Allah does not mention the nose in the Quran. So that tells you what? That tells you that the nose, the rinsing of the nose and the mouth are sunnahs of the wudu. And we'll talk about them the next time we meet for this class. But those parts commanded by Allah are the pillars. Good job. Okay, look at the next question. The last time we met, we also spoke about the virtues, some of the virtues of wudu. There's many virtues to making wudu. Who can tell us what are some of the virtues of wudu? Anyone?
There will be a light on the parts of the body you wash with the wudu on the day of judgment. And I think the hadith goes that there will be people on the day of judgment full of light that will go to the Prophet ﷺ's fountain of water, and he will invite them over, but they will be pulled to hell, and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ will be concerned for them, but the angels will say, "You don't know what they did after you were gone."
Exactly. MashaAllah, exactly. One of the virtues is this is how our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be able to identify his people, his followers. He'll be able to recognize of all the people that come forward on the day of judgment, he'll be able to know which of the people are of his nation. Because unlike Moses, unlike Jesus, unlike Abraham, unlike Isaac, Ishmael, and the other prophets, Solomon and David, his people, we Muslims will be the only ones that he can recognize, and he'll know who we are because of the fact that we made wudu, and the places that we made wudu over will be a light for us. And that's how he's going to be shocked at some of us when we come forward to stand behind him and to drink from his pond. A lot of us are going to be pulled away. And the prophets are going to say, no, these are my people, because he see the light that we used to make wudu. But, unfortunately, we didn't follow the sunnah. We changed the religion. Those of us of the later generations, look how we are. We have all that protesting against the qadr of Allah, all that boycotting against the qadr of Allah. So, voting in elections, participating and voting for non-Muslims to be presidents over you, leaders over you. This is all changing the religion of Allah. So Allah is going to be grabbing us, pulling us to the hellfire, having the angels grab us and pull us to the hellfire. He's going to say, but those are my people. And Allah is going to say, yeah, these are the people you never met, and you don't know what they did. They made a mockery of your sunnah, a mockery of this deen, and they got to do some time in hell. That's a powerful hadith to think about. But the good of that hadith is, but because of the wudu, that's how our prophet will recognize that we belong with him and not with any of the other prophets. Good job. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Any other virtues before I go to any other virtues of the wudu? Any other virtues of the wudu?
When you commit minor sin, the sin that you didn't know it was your sin that you didn't know that you're not supposed to do it. When you make wudu, it will wash away. What did I say? No. Let me start over. Whatever you make wudu, when you make a sin, a minor sin, like example, you look at something you're not supposed to look. When you wash your face, it will wipe away those sins that you made with your eyes or whatever body part that you made, like your foot or your hands.
Good job. Excellent. Excellent, guys. That's another beauty of the wudu. Like I was explaining to Brother Edward. Remember the other day? Brother Edward said that he is so afraid to commit a sin. That's a good sign. It's a sign that his iman has grown. But now what Brother Edward has to do is learn how to balance it, because you don't want to be extreme. None of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. And just think about it. Any mistakes that we make, any actions of disobedience that we do because we did not know that it was wrong, don't worry about it. You're forgiven for them every time you make wudu, from wudu to wudu, from prayer to prayer, from one Friday to the next, from one Ramadan to the next. You're forgiven for those sins that you committed unknowingly. So this is why I'm telling the new shahadas, a lot of you, your iman has grown. You have to find the balance now. Strike the balance in your faith. Do not be fanatical. I make mistakes. Ain't none of us perfect. I do sins mistakenly, and sometimes we do sins knowingly. But Allah forgives all, long as we turn back to him and repent out of sincerity. For the sins we do deliberately, and for the unintentional sins, don't worry about it. You're forgiven when you make wudu. Any other virtues of making wudu? Good job, AY. That's one of my favorite hadiths. I got a problem with my tongue. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's look at that question, Sister Amy. Amy says that one of the things that she's working on is profanity. Well, you know, Amy, how long you been Muslim? A couple of months? It's going to take time. I was born and raised Muslim, and I still have a problem with my tongue. You know, we work on it. But like I said, you know, every time you make wudu, every time you rinse your mouth, you know, you're forgiven for the mistakes. You know, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Astaghfirullah. Excuse me, Allah. Forgive me, Allah. Okay, don't worry about it. When you make wudu, Allah will forgive. You already said, oh, Allah, forgive me for it. And then when you make wudu, that washes that profanity out too. Okay, so don't worry about it. I don't want none of you new shahadas to take it to the extreme. Exactly. Okay, go ahead in the Zoom room. What's another virtue?
Another virtue is when you perfect your wudu and you walk into the masjid. Each step that you walk to the masjid, you get a reward for that.
Exactly. That's a big one. And does that apply to driving in a car? Yes, it does. We don't walk nowadays. We got cars. But it still applies. If you live 10 miles from the mosque, every tire track that's made to that mosque, if you perfected your wudu, you're being forgiven of a sin, a minor sin. Also, Allah is raising you up higher, closer to him in status. But every step you take, every tire that tread that's made in that ground, your tires like your footprint. So that's something that you brothers need to think about. You brothers need to get to the mosque and make your prayers. Okay, any other virtues of the wudu? MashaAllah. Okay, so, you know, this is another example of the beauty of Islam. Even the obligations that Allah imposes upon us brings about virtues. If we do them out of sincerity to please Allah, and if we do them the way Allah legislated for them to be done, they bring about virtues for us. No other way of life entails anything like this. So that shows that Allah is not oppressive. So today what we're going to do is go into detail speaking about the pillars. The pillars of the wudu. And it all begins with the intention. As we talked about, there's two conditions that have to exist In order for Allah to accept any of our good deeds, number one, you have to have this intention to do it sincerely for Him. Why do I make sure that I look nice when I get on camera? You know I ain't got no man, so I definitely ain't doing it for no dude. Plus, I wear the same thing over and over, just a different hijab. It ain't like I'm wearing no fancy clothes. These are house dresses. These are shifts that you wear around the house. Kick it in. But I want to make sure that I'm nice and attractive and clean, because Allah loves attractiveness. Allah loves cleanliness. And I'm sitting here representing this nation. I'm representing all Muslim women on this planet. And we have to understand that. And the non-Muslims already have bad ideas about us as women. The non-Muslims already slander us, make fun of us, and think that we are these docile, no right possessing, deserving creatures. So I have to sit on this camera and represent the truth. So I'm doing it for Allah, to please Him. You know, if the intention is not to please Allah, even in putting on your clothing and appearing on the internet, then Allah is not going to accept it. So the intention is a condition of any deed to be accepted. And also you have to do the deed the way Allah commanded. So with the wudu, it's the same. And this doesn't mean that we go around verbalizing, just like with the prayer. For a lot of you new shahadas, you may go to pray with some Muslim, and before they start the prayer, they'll say Nuwaida wa nasali salatul dur arba rakats fard salat inshallah. We don't do that. We don't say that. We don't verbalize our intentions. Intentions are in the heart. Okay? They're in the heart. The simple fact that you got up and walked to the sink to make wudu, that's your intention. As the prophet said, the intentions are followed by actions. Okay? The simple fact that you thought in your mind, wow, it's time to pray, I got to make wudu, that's your intention. And the fact that you stood up and went to the sink to do it, that's the intention. Okay? We have this hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every action is based on the intention behind it, and everyone will have whatever he intended. So it's the action. So I don't want to hear any of you saying, Nuwaida wa nasali salatul fajr. Okay, or Nuwaida wa nasali salatul maghrib, salatul rakats fard salat inshallah. I don't want to hear any of that. That's some garbage that some innovator taught you. And I'm going to tell you guys, I would remember last Ramadan. Last Ramadan, a Muslim sister came to my house to bring me a Ramadan dish. She lives over here where I live at, one of my neighbors. And I think she was going to show off. You know, I ended up taking, I ate the food and I went to give her back her dish. And I took her dish back to her. And she said, oh, Sister Layla, I love you so much. You want to pray with me? Please pray with me in my house. It was Isha time. So I went in her house and I said, you go ahead and lead, because this is your home. I was trying to let her understand that, teaching her that in your house, you lead your own prayer. And we're going to talk about that. So I told her I'll follow you, because she wanted me to lead. I said, no, this is your home. You pray. You lead. And I think it was to show off. I called the iqamet. And after I called the iqamet, she smiled and she said, Niyat. I'm like, uh-oh. No, she didn't. Niyat. That means intention. Nuwaida wa nasali. I intend to pray. And then she went into it. Nuwaida wa nasali salatu Isha arba rakats Fard Salat, inshallah. And she said it with such dignity. And I can kind of tell that it was a show off. So I said, stop. I said, we don't do that. I told her that's innovation. I said, intentions are followed by actions. I said, we do not verbalize or vocalize your intentions to pray, your intentions to fast. And she said, well, they taught me this at the mosque. I said, well, the mosque taught you wrong. Well, they were Arabs. I told her, do you not know that Arabs innovate too? That we got more Sufi Arabs than anything too? There's a lot of Sufi Arabs, the innovative Arabs. I said, this is wrong. We don't do that. You know, no intentions out loud. So I don't want to hear any of my new shahadas. If I ever come to your house and have you lead me in prayer, because I might have you lead me just so I can see what you learned from me. I don't want to hear no new way to want to sell salat on anything. Okay? It's all innovation. All right. So the first pillar of the wudu, just like with the prayer, is the intention. Then the second pillar. Now we talked about how, well, not the second, but then another pillar of the wudu is the face, the washing of the face. And a lot of Muslims ask me about the face. This entails pouring or running water from the top of the forehead to the bottom of the jaw, and from one ear to the other. Let me try to make this a little bigger for my new shahadas. In other words, I'm going to give you guys a clue, a shortcut as to what this means. Whenever we make wudu, whatever part of the body, it has to be completely immersed in water. In other words, cover the whole part of that body completely. So if I'm going to do my face, I'm going to put the water in my hands and do this. This is what I do. I rub it. This is why they'll tell you to rub it to make sure that it covers your face. And there's a misconception. You guys heard me have to correct Dr. Asim. I love him, my cousin. Makeup. It's not water. Makeup is water soluble, and it always has been. I don't know where these men, maybe because they're men and they don't know, what makes a man think that a makeup is not water soluble. If makeup was not water soluble, none of us would have a face. If makeup was chemicals and plaster, would your skin look like, would my skin look like this? Would I still look youthful? Would I be even beautiful? Or would I have rotten skin? Would I be the Walking Dead? Would my skin have been burnt off and I would be one of the Walking Dead? I mean, come on, this is just retardedness. Makeup is water soluble. Alcohol is water soluble and it's makeup. Okay? Tint is water soluble. It's makeup. If it wasn't water soluble, it wouldn't come off. And we sisters, all women know when we make wudu, it's gonna take your makeup off. Even my kohor. I mean, it doesn't come completely off, but boy, I have to touch it up. And it's simple. We got mirrors, we got the little coal stick, and we just touch it up. It's water soluble. Okay, so what you sisters are gonna do is take the water in your hands and just the whole face and do it like this. What I just rub it like this. And then when I'm done with, I'll pat it dry. Whatever touch-ups you sister have to do your touch-up. Hello, kohor. That's all I wear is kohor. Or if I'm gonna put on some tint, keep it moving. That's it. Y'all understand? So that's a real simple thing. Just as long as the whole face has been covered with water and you've rubbed it over there to get the whole face, the entire face, good to go. And that's how I do it. That's the face. Everybody understand that? Just making sure you cover the whole face. Just like the hands. I'm going to wash the entire hand. All right. Also, the arms to the elbows. Same thing. You're going to, the arm from the wrist to the elbow, the entire arm, rub it. What I do, you put the water in your hand like this, turn your hand up, and then take the other hand and just rub it over the entire arm like this to the elbow. Just rub the water so that way the entire arm is covered completely by the water. You sisters got that? The entire arm. The entire arm. I rub the water on the same way with the face. Whatever body part you are doing wudu over, rub it completely over it. Face. See how I'm rubbing it? Arms. Okay. And that's one of the pillars. It's the arms to the elbow. And the elbows must be washed. Why? Because the prophet did it. And he said it. So again, put the water, cup it in my hand, turn the hand up. The water's running down. Okay. And I'm taking this other hand and just rubbing it to make sure that it's the whole arm up to the elbow. You ain't got to do this shoulder and stuff, just the elbow. And also the wiping of the head. And that means exactly what it says. We're not washing your hair. You guys were here this weekend. I had to make that correction to Dr. Assam too. And first of all, as women, you can wipe over your hijab. And we're going to talk about that the next time we meet. But at least once during the day, at least once during the day, at least once within that 24 hours, you want to wipe, not wash. We're not washing our hair. We're wiping the head with our hand. And that don't mean to put your hand on your head with a wet finger. No, no, no. Again, rubbing, wipe like that. Okay? And it does not mean that the entire head needs to be wiped either. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, let me show you all these hadiths and I'll show you how to do it. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wiped the head 3 different ways because we're not washing our hair and it doesn't have to be the entire head. Number 1, the first way, the prophet would wipe his entire head with his hands. He would start at the front and move to the back and then go back to the front. Now that's what I do. Let me demonstrate. And for us sisters, all you have to do it is once a day because you can put it. We're going to talk about the hijab on for the rest of the day and just wipe over top of the hijab. But let me show you guys. I do it that way. You wet your hands. You don't pour water. We're not doing this. You wet your hands. And then I usually start here and go back and then back front. That's it. One time. That's it. But you're not washing your hair. You're wiping your head. And the ears are part of the head. So I'll go wet my hands and shake them a little bit. I'll wet them, shake them like this, and I go whoosh, whoosh. And I'll take my thumbs and do my ears. That's it. That's how Layla does it. Whoosh, whoosh. Simple. Done deal. Still got my due. Hello. It don't take my curls out. My curls are still in there when I get my hair done. That's why I was telling Dr. Asson, what are you talking about? Get my hair done. It don't even take my curls out. All you're going to do is this and this anyway. Put it in the ear. Keep it moving one time. The rest of the time, I'm doing it over my hijab. Simple. Okay, that's the first way. And that's the way I do. Then another way the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would do his head. Let me make it back larger so y'all can get the hadiths and not me. There. He would wipe over the turban only. And that's what I'm telling you, sisters. All you have to do is wipe over your head at least one time in 24 hours if you are not traveling. And I always do it for Fajr. Fajr is when I take off my hijab and I wipe the head. And I do it the first way. One, go just wet my hands, shake them out, go back and then front, and I do the ears and call it a day. Then for the rest of the day, if I need a wudu, which I usually do at least one time, I'll do it over the turban or over my hijab. And that's based on this hadith. Ibn Umayyah, he said, I saw the Prophet of Allah wipe his turban and shoes. I do that. I wipe over my turban and shoes. Okay? Also, Bilal tells us that the Prophet said, wipe over your shoes and your head covering. That's your hijab or your cap that you got on underneath it. Umar said, may Allah not purify the one who does not consider wiping over the turban to be purifying. And all of these hadiths are authentic. What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. So I don't know why these brothers try to tell you sisters, how can you do wudu if you get your hair done? I get my hair done every other week. What that got to do? What's getting your hair done got to do with it? Brothers, get a life, bro. Get a life, bro. Okay, so Fajr. You sisters wake up every morning for Fajr. You wipe over your head. You're going to wet your hands, shake them out, and do one back, forward, one time. And then don't forget the ears. You go back, forward, and I take my thumbs and go in my ears. Rest of the day, I got my hijab cap. I'll put my hijab cap on. I'll put it on. You don't have to wear it all day. When it's time for wudu, I wear a silk press. You sisters know what a silk press is? That's the hairstyle I have. And what do we do with a silk press? Oh yeah, white girls get silk press too, but I ain't no white girl. But I got that type of hair, okay? We get silk press too. And you know what we do? We'll take that brush, wrap it, put that cap on, and it's time for wudu, wipe over the hijab. That's it. See that? Or if I'm teaching, which I usually am, I have a whole hijab on. If I got to make wudu, I'll wet my hands, wipe over my hijab. That's all I do. Just like that. Just like that. And my silk press hair is still fine. It's just wrapped up. Take that hijab off at night, shake it, and it all just tumbles down. Hello. Why these brothers try to make it like, I don't know. Don't listen to these brothers. Okay, so that's all you have to do. But at least, now if you're traveling, it's different. But at home, I try to do it every Fajr. At Fajr, I'm going to wipe over my head. Then for the rest of the day, because you can do it for 24 hours until the next Fajr, I'm doing over my cap, or my case mostly is the hijab, because I keep a hijab on because I'm always on this internet teaching. Y'all got it? And y'all saw the hadiths. That's what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did too. Okay, also, let me make this bigger. Wait, oh, I got the wrong PowerPoint. I'm sorry. Wrong computer. Let's talk about this. Wiping over the front portion of the scalp and turban. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made wudu, and he would just wipe over the front portion of his scalp or his turban and his socks. So that's another way. That's the third way. And what's the source? This is Sahih Muslim, just the top. So say, for example, I'm going to make dhuhr. I already went over my head for Fajr. Now it's dhuhr time. I'm putting on my hijab cap. Or I got on my hijab like this, making wudu, wipe my hands, shake them out, and just wipe over the top. See that? Like that. You can either go like this or like that. I'll do either one, depending on, what situation is. That or that. That's it. And again, it's not pouring water. It's not washing yourself. It's just what it said, wipe. Y'all see how simple? The sister here say, wow, you see that, Amy? Real easy. So yes, we go into the salon and get our hair done because Allah loves beauty. And we still praise and glorify our Lord and make wudu like we supposed to. Ain't no dreadlocks here. Dreadlocks are haram, sisters. There's no need for you to walk around looking like a jinn because these brothers tell you that it's haram to get your hair done. So you rather let your hair knot up and you can't even comb through it and it stinks and it's filthy, it's ugly because you let the brothers break you. Don't ever let nobody strip you of that natural femininity that Allah put in you. Just like for you brothers, don't ever let no woman strip you of your manhood. Okay? All right. Yeah, real easy. You're welcome. She said thank you. She didn't know that. Yes. Just one. Now, we're going to talk about this in detail. Now, you sisters know, now with the hair, braids. Braids are beautiful. Oh, yes. Braids, you ain't got to worry about nothing. I wished I could wear braids, but my hair ain't the kind that can be braided. I look like a wannabe. It don't look right on me. I let it hang. I let my hair just hang. But subhanAllah, the braids are gorgeous for you women. Yeah, y'all good to go. All you got to do is wipe. Yeah. If you want to take a shower, let the shower go through it. Oh, yeah. So if you have relations with your husbands, you sisters do not have to remove your braids. If you sisters have braids in your hair and you're having relations with your husband, what a beautiful thing. Because all you got to do is stand up in that shower. And we're going to talk about ghusl. You're going to stand up in that shower and let the water run from your head to your feet and you good to go. That's the beauty of braids. And by the way, the Prophet's wives wore braids too. The Arab women like braids. Yes. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, menses. When your menses is over, you got to wash your hair. You got to take them braids out. I got to go get my hair done again. If you're a person like me was just a beauty shop woman, menses over, that's part of the cleaning. Go get my hair done again. Yes, different. All right. May Allah make it easy for you, Amy. All right. Yeah. Yeah, well, alhamdulillah. And please spread the word. Let the other sisters know about this website. Okay, so those are the three ways we can do the head, and these are all the authentic hadiths on all three of them. Please take screenshots. Let me make it even larger. Please take your screenshots. Yeah, I'll wait a couple seconds. All right. And then the last pillar is the feet and the heels. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, woe to the heels, save your heels from the hellfire. So again, now the head is different. The head, because you're not washing your hair or washing your head, you're wiping. But for the other body parts is wash. We're washing the hands. We're washing the face. We're washing the arms. We're washing the feet. So for the other body parts that entail washing, you're going to rub your hand over that body part to make sure it's been completely covered with water. Well, the feet is a wash. So you're going to take your hand and wet it with water and then wash it, wipe it all over the foot. Does everybody understand that? Let me show how that would go. I'm not going to show you my feet because, by the way, women, your foot is part of your nakedness. You cannot show your feet. It's part of your nakedness. So, the top of your feet. So, let's just say this is my foot. I'm going to take this hand, wet it, scoop it up with water. Then I'm going to do this. You know, make sure that I rub it. Wash means to rub it, to make sure the water covers every part of my foot. The top, the bottom, and let's say this is the heel. So I'm going to wet my hand with water, shake it out. Then I'm going to do this. Take my hand that's got the wet water on it and rub it on the top, rub it on the bottom and the heel. Now, we're going to talk about that, Brother Edward. The toe, this is a sunan. Rubbing the water between the toes is a sunan, and we'll talk about that the next time. But the pillar, do all of this, the top, the bottom, and the heel. And the same thing with wiping. If I'm going to wipe over the shoe, then it's just the top of the shoe. That's it. If I have on house shoes, they're closed-toed. If I have on my closed-toed house shoes, wait, what's this? There go net. Oh, it's net season. I got a net in here. And I'm going to just wipe over the top. If it's a sock, just wipe over the top. Everybody got that? Just the top. And also, we have to follow the sequence. What does that mean? That means that, hold on, let me fix this so y'all can get the big screen. You have to wash every part of the wudu body in the order that the Prophet told us to. You start with the hands, then you're going to rinse your mouth, then you're going to rinse your nose. You got to follow the sequence. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, begin with what Allah began with. And there's no authentic hadith on this planet that says the Prophet made wudu out of order or out of sequence. So that's what I wanted to speak about today. Those are the pillars. Okay, the hands, the face, the arms, the head, the feet. Okay. The next time we meet for this class, we'll do the sunnahs, which are the mouth and the nose. And we're going to talk about between the toes, between the fingers. Those are sunnahs. Between the fingers and all that, that's sunnahs. That's not a pillar. All right. Okay. Any questions or comments?
I have two questions. The first one is, so all of these need to be done up to 3 times. We didn't.
No, that's not a pillar either. Those are sunnahs. That's why we didn't mention it. Okay. We'll talk about that next time. Okay. A lot of people say, do I have to do everything 3 times? No. It can be once, twice, or 3 times, but we'll cover that next time. I want y'all to know what the pillars are today. The intention. Don't forget that. No new way to want to sully stuff. Okay? The hands, the face, the arms, the feet. Everybody got it? Any other questions? And
Just a comment. I think it's really important to emphasize also that you don't have to put your foot in no sink.
Oh God, go ahead with that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I actually had one of my uncles who was elderly, he put his foot in his sink, he lost his balance, hit his head, bled through. So just like Sister Layla said, all you have to do is get your hands in some water and rub it or wipe it off. Because a lot of people will see Muslims putting their foot in a sink.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
uneducated.
And some even
They
will do
think
the
they have to
toilet.
put their foot in a sink.
Yeah, they'll do a toilet too. Did y'all know that? I forgot about that, Pfizer. Yeah, you don't stick your foot in no toilet, no sink, or no bathtub either. Like I said, it's just what, you know, wet your hand with the water, shake it out, and rub it over the top, over the bottom, and the heel. That's it. We don't have to raise your leg up and put it in no sink or no tub or any of that. The toilet, none of that. Yeah, that's extremism. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yes, exactly, Brother Edward. The rubbing is just long as that body part has been covered. Yeah, that's good, Brother Tajri. Brother Tajri said in the masjid there is running water for the faucet. Yeah. If you got a masjid that has a ablution station, and that's good. That's good if you have an ablution station. But remember, not every mosque has that. We got some hood masjids. Some hood masjids don't have ablution stations. Exactly. Or you may be at work, or you may be at school and you have to make wudu, and you think you got to take your foot and stick it in the sink and you fall and bust your head. I think Sabrine fell. Sabrine, was that you that was saying that when you had your surgery, you had a hard time because you thought you had to put your foot inside the sink? A lot of elderly people fall down. Pfizer's a nurse. Yeah. He said he didn't know that either. That's a good thing. Exactly. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. Okay. The brother here said he's so happy that he's taking this class. Yes. And the sisters too. You know, like I said, we're going to go into more detail about that wiping stuff, you know, but just like I said, you get up for Fajr, you do that front, back, do the ear, and you done. We ain't washing the hair. Who said you had to do all that crap? No. And that's an innovation, Brother Amir. The neck is not part of it. That's innovation. A lot of the brothers from Pakistan do that. I don't know where they get that from. The neck is not part of the wudu at all. That's an innovation, Brother Amir. Yes, you're going to take that hand, wet it, shake it out, and go. That's it. And do the ear. That's it. One time during the day. Fajr is what I do. Then the rest of the day, Layla doing it over her hijab, man. My hair is wrapped. Take it down, shake it out. All right.
I had a general question before we close up, just about the quizzes, because I've been meaning to ask. Because I was reviewing my notes before we went over the quiz. Yeah, I was reviewing my notes before we went over the quiz. Do we have to give, like, can we just give it a summary of the hadith? Because sometimes I don't remember all of it without reviewing it.
Okay, there's nothing in Islam that says we have to say stuff word for word, not even the Quran. You know, you just give the meaning. That's what we're teaching, the meaning. Yeah, just give the meaning of the hadith like you did. You did it. That's the way you did it was perfect.
Okay, because I was looking at my notes before I did that, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, just all you gonna guys, no one remember. First of all, remember Arabic is a language totally different than English. Arabic has words that don't even exist. So all we're giving you is the transliteration of the meaning. And it's all about knowing the meaning of the Quran, knowing the meaning of the hadith. Language, we could care less, you know, okay? Because you don't speak it. But yeah, just long as you sisters got the meaning and brothers got the meaning of these hadiths, that's what counts. The meaning is wipe. The meaning is, but nobody wants no word for word for word. Yeah. Okay, Brother Tajri, is that a concession, sister, when you put your foot in the sink? No, that ain't no concession. That's ignorance. I'm going to be honest. That's ignorance when you put your foot in a sink. Nothing in Islam says to put your foot in a sink. That's not part of the wudu. I don't know where y'all get that from. Allah does not say put your foot in a sink. Allah says just what, like the hadith that we went over said. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wash your feet and save your heels from the hellfire. The companions didn't have sinks. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad lived in the 6th century. The Arabs did not have bathrooms in the 6th century. They did not have sinks and toilets in the 6th century. This is some stuff that people do today. They did wudu just the way I showed you. They would wet their hands with water and rub it over the top, the bottom, and the heel. I don't know where this sink stuff come from. That's stupidity. I don't know why people do that. I really don't. I never could, because I'm clumsy. I could never lift my leg up and put it in a bowl, a sink, and then without falling. It's just stupid. Yeah, any other questions? Exactly, Brother Edward. Okay, well, mashallah, this was a pretty good class. Tomorrow, let me share with everybody. Don't forget that tomorrow we have Brother Muhammad Ziyada. Brother Muhammad Ziyada, who's a law enforcement officer. He'll be here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he's going to talk about problems that our children are facing in school and in college, trying to maintain, their Islamic identity while living in a non-Muslim environment. And he's going to speak from his experience as a law enforcement officer, and also he'll answer any questions that you women and men have as parents, and also he'll address the children too. You don't want to miss that, and you want to share that. Try to get your family and stuff to join too. Okay, that's tomorrow at 9. All right, I'm going to close out for tonight. Inshallah, I'll see everybody tomorrow at 6:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.